Hi, I'm Benjamin, and how do other religions view non-believers? What do they think of people who don't believe in their faith? We in the West sprouted, even if we don't believe in it now, which I'm not a Christian, as you know if you watch my channel, but our inheritance is sprouted from a Christian structure and an ethical framework. Our laws, our institutions, our democracies even, are from a Christian root. And I think that means that we don't always understand that other faiths and other religions don't have the same empathy or need to save others or side with the weak as we always seem to do in the West. So how do other religions view non-believers? And I'm not going to focus so much on the doctrine of these faiths, but rather how they view us. I'll have to explain a little bit of each faith. So let's get into these faiths. I'm going into the major faiths. We can't go into every single faith. There are just too many of them. So let's get started. Sikhism is younger than I thought, 1469. And I really didn't know that much about it, but it's a monotheistic religion. It believes not in heaven or hell, like other monotheistic religions generally, but that when we die we go back into a universal matter, or nature, basically. It's very tolerant, actually, and that surprised me. But as for non-believers, Sikhism rejects that any faith has the absolute truth. But don't mistake their tolerance for being pushovers, because many of their followers, or at least a certain sect of them, are required to carry a blade with them, a kirpan. Thankfully, these bunch are tolerant, because I wouldn't want people who were intolerant carrying a blade around. Sikhs believe they have no right to impose their beliefs on others, or to push other religions to convert. They are forbidden from proselytizing or pushing other people to convert to their faith. They're happy to talk with you about their faith, but for non-believers, they're not going to pressure you into it. So, regarding non-believers in this case, they seem very tolerant, I think. You can convert regardless of man, woman, nationality, race, whatever, they're happy for you. But their focus is on good character and behavior. You can get to salvation without being a Sikh, and not all Sikhs are guaranteed salvation. It's more about who you are. Which again, that is very tolerant, and it surprised me. Taoism, or Taoism. Now, before I get into Tao, I must mention the Eastern faiths. These, Buddhism, Confucianism, Tao, Shinto, these belong to an Oriental world that doesn't view faiths like we do. They view it as a fusion of religion and philosophy, atheism and theism, nature and death, harmony, law and civic, religion, our relationship to the state, our conduct. That's what these religions are focusing on more, much more so than Western religions. No orthodoxy or set belief in most of these. So going forward in this, just keep that in mind. These Oriental religions are in a completely different category, even from Hinduism, actually, but certainly the West. As for Tao, this believes that there is a way. Tao is the way. But it doesn't really explain what the way is. There's a vagueness, which makes it more open, and it's more of a viewpoint in many ways than a faith. It is concerned with the natural order of the world, not going against innate nature, Xing. And its founding text, Tao Te Ching, expresses this as being in its opening lines as this: that which is called Tao is not Tao. Names can name no lasting name. If you hear a dog in the background, I can't control what my neighbors do. So what would Taoists think of non-believers or non-followers? Tao, whether you follow Tao or do not follow Tao, Tao is not concerned that you are part of Tao. Bahá is a monotheistic faith, born in 19th century Iran under heavy Islamic and Arabic influence, but it separates from Islam in a key way. It does believe that there were messengers who came before and that those are valid, but it includes everyone, every religion. There's a progressive revelation rather than a fixed and last one. It includes the Eastern religions as part of this. It states that there is one and there must be unity of faith. It rejects the concept of nations because it seeks the unity of the world. All religions are seen as valid. All are messengers from God, so there's a tolerance etched in its DNA. Abraham, Moses, Buddha, all of these, Jesus, Muhammad, all of these are valid. So it's trying to be tolerant from the get-go. There are two covenants in the Baha'i faith, or agreements with God, greater and lesser. This greater covenant regards the messengers of God. So Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, etc. These are all of a progressive revelation, of which Baha'i is the most important, of course. The lesser covenant, however, is regarding the followers of Baha'u'llah who died as this religion was getting off the ground, and their relationship to unity, unity of faith, the unity of man, the unity of everything. They believe Baha'i will not be the last revelation. There will be another one after this, sometime in the next millennium. So how would this Baha'i faith view non-believers? Well, if you believe in another faith, I suppose they would simply think that you belong to an earlier revelation. You haven't caught up to the most recent one. But overall, I see them as very tolerant. They don't want to cause division. I think that's very clear in their beliefs. Did you know that this channel has a Patreon page, where if you want to support the channel, you can do so. There's also a super like button, and you can buy me a coffee, or simply comment and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Let's get back into the video. Confucianism is what is called a civil religion. It is much more concerned with law. It was the administrative thought of the Chinese Empire, concerned with social harmony, education for loyalty and order. No disruption. There are ghosts and deities, but it's not concerned with that, really. It's concerned with calm in relation to the state and authority. Conduct, how you engage yourself with the state and authority. How do you live a good life? Reverence for your ancestors. Again, Oriental faiths are more of a viewpoint than a faith, neither atheist nor religious. Confucianism is more concerned with conduct and character, social harmony in society, than your personal beliefs. So long as you're not going to disrupt the order or bring about disharmony, I think this faith is happy to let you mind your own business. It's not intrusive or invasive, and that follows this Eastern concept generally. It's more of a viewpoint. There's no orthodoxy here, but you must, in Confucianism, respect authority. There is no rebellion here. That is not cool. So just be calm. Zoroastrianism. That's a bit to say. It's old. Over 4,000 years old, which makes it potentially the oldest surviving religion to have a single creator type deity. But this is not exclusively monotheistic. Judaism, Islam, Christianity, that's monotheism. Shinto, Hinduism, polytheistic. Confucianism, Buddhism to an extent, civic religion. But this faith is dualistic. It believes in a creator, the Lord of wisdom, Ahura Mazda, and Angra Mainyu, a spirit of chaos and destruction. Light and dark, day and night, water and fire, they like fire. These dual opposites. There is a prophecy of good winning over evil in the end, so there's an optimism here, but there is a heaven and hell. And there is a path to salvation. They are tolerant, and we can look at conversion for that to see that you can convert, except for one group who went down to India, and the Hindu Raja, the Hindu ruler, let them in, and they agreed in honor to this man to not proselytize, to not convert people to their faith there. And that is something they have honored for many centuries now. So they have the sense of honor and promise to other faiths to coexist in ways which change themselves to accommodate and tolerate other faiths. So that says a lot about how they view non-believers. Islam has persecuted them quite brutally, so they might be a bit apprehensive about Islam, but they believe anyone of good character can go to heaven, but that they hold, of course, the ultimate truth, and that other beliefs are a mishmash of barbarous cults and superstitions and sects. This is an interesting balance between tolerance and intolerance. Quite middle ground, I think. Next one. Judaism is the faith that I follow, and to get this across how Jews see non-believers, I need to explain first, this is a national faith. There is the land of Israel and the people of Israel, who are the nation, the Jewish people, and they have a relationship. There's a relationship between Israel, the people, and Israel, the land, through a legal agreement, a covenant with God, which means there is Israel, the land, and the rest of the world. There is Israel, the people, and Gentiles, all non-Jews. But Jews are bound by 613 mitzvot, commands. Not all of them are valid today, but non-Jews are only required 7 laws, or Gentiles. Do you remember a guy named Noah? Or do you know of a guy who stuffed a bunch of animals into an ark, and then there was a flood, and then when they came out, in the Jewish belief, there was a rainbow. That rainbow was the mark of a covenant, according to the Talmud. This rainbow was indicative of an agreement between God and all mankind, that they follow 7 basic laws, and God will never destroy the earth in that way again, at least. And the laws were as follows: no worshipping idols, no cursing God, no murder. Do you think you cannot murder people? No adultery or sexual immorality, no sex outside of marriage, no theft, no eating the flesh of a living animal, and set up your own courts of justice. And if you follow those 7 laws, you are a righteous Gentile with reward in the world to come. Generally, Jews do not marry non-Jews, but some do. You can convert, not for the purpose of marriage, but it takes a while. Jews don't think they're better than anyone else. It's just that Jews have a legal contract that they are obliged to follow, and the commands that come with it. Now, I don't want to go on ranting about my own faith, so let's get on to the next one. Hinduism. this religion is both polytheistic and not, because their creator emanates in all of the gods, in all religions and all human forms. This religion is intensely pluralistic. There are 4 main branches and many dozens of other denominations. It's polymorphic in that all forms are sacred. All forms ultimately come from the divine, and all are holy. Hinduism is remarkably tolerant of other faiths. It's tolerant in a way that I don't think any other religion is, because of its plural sense. And their relationship with Jews is one that I deeply respect. Of all the lands of the earth, India has never truly persecuted Jews. And that is an incredible monument to their tolerance and the friendship between my faith and the Hindu faith. So thank you for being so open and tolerant toward Jews. In Hinduism, so long as you are following Dharma, a correct conduct of life, and you respect their cows, they like their cows, and do not try and impose any faith upon their tolerant faith, then I think you and the Hindu are very cool. Islam is a monotheistic religion, and it has some similarities with Bahá, the faith Bahá, because it does count other messengers which came before as prophets that are valid. Abraham, Moses, Isaiah, Jesus. However, any revelation after Muhammad is considered an infidel. Polytheists, like Hinduism and Shinto, have a simple choice in Islam: convert or die. People of the book, Christians and Jews, have a choice: be a dhimmi, pay a humiliation tax, banned from carrying weapons, and occasionally be stuffed into a walled ghetto, or you can die. All non-Muslims are essentially infidels, and non-Muslims are not allowed into Mecca, right? And just to get this across to you, I need to explain some of what these people believe here. You get the point, and we in the West need to be able to have an open conversation about what this religion is and how hostile it is to non-believers. Christianity is a monotheistic faith that's sort of like a 3-spirit deity faith. It's unlike any of the others. There are 4 branches mainly of Christianity: Eastern Orthodox, Catholic, Protestant, and between Protestant and Catholic, Anglican. Each of these have a slightly different way of viewing the world and other faiths. Generally, their teachings and spiritual principles are the same at the core. To get how Christians view non-believers, we need to go back to its relation to Judaism. It replaced Judaism's national covenant with a new one that was universal, all of mankind, and then hung that above a flame, a fire, hell, saying we must save everyone from this. And so there is a sense in Christianity of we must save the world. Christianity is an expansive, universalistic faith, but it does it in a way that's completely opposite to Islam. Islam wants to conquer the world, subjugate it. Christianity seeks to save the world. It is aggressive in that way, I must say. However, there is a sense of forgiveness and tolerance within the Christian faith, empathy and kindness, which I respect. And it is the source of our Western institutions, our values, our ethics, our laws, which this channel is pro-West. It views non-believers with a sense of pity because of this mix of guilt and empathy, which means it sees non-believers as helpless victims or almost satanic oppressors. You can see how our Western culture, with religion removed, we still have these core values because we see people siding with the weak and oppressed even if they are morally wrong, obsessed, fetishizing victimhood, and this is a direct root from Christianity, that it seeks to save the world and make the world in its own image. So Christians view other faiths and non-believers in a mix of empathy and pity. Buddhism began as a rebellion against Hindu ideas, actually, that there is a way out of this endless reincarnation cycle through nirvana, that all sentient life is not destined, that there is a way out of this cycle through self-control, good conduct and detachment from feelings and materialism. You can get out of this unending cycle. In that, it is an expression of free will, and also because it arose out of Hinduism's ideas in many ways, it's very tolerant, very accepting of other faiths as a faith, as other Oriental religions are in the further parts of the East. It's not mutually exclusive of other religions. Many Shintoists are also Buddhists, and vice versa. Confucianism and Buddhism have molded each other in a way in many parts of China. So it goes with other religions rather than going against them. And as other Eastern faiths, it's more of a philosophy than a religion in the Western idea of the concept. Buddhists are usually not going to go out of their way to try and convert you. If you seek an explanation, they will explain to you how you can free yourself from this cycle and do yourself less harm by rising through many lives, over centuries perhaps, and lifting yourself up out of this through nirvana. The goal of this video is not an extensive understanding of what other religions believe, but rather what they generally might think of you as a non-believer. I think, at least my impression of Buddhism from just looking at it, is that they would look at you as if you don't need to harm yourself through needless attachment to idols, pleasures, and worldly pursuits. You can release yourself from the unending cycle. There's a way out of this. You have free will. And in that, you're free not to follow it as well. They are tolerant in a condescending monk-like way. This video is already a bit lengthy, so Shintoism and Marxism, I thought about including these two religions in it. Shintoism, however, would require I let you know at length what the structure of this almost structureless religion is, which would take a long time. As for Marxism, I realized I would have to explain why it is a religion. And if you want a video exclusively on Shintoism, leave a super like and let me know. Which religion did you find was the most tolerant or least tolerant? Which one do you think was a happy medium in between the two? Do you think we need a happy medium in between the two? What are your thoughts on how those religions see non-believers? Let me know down in the comments. And since you made it to the end, Diolch yn fawr iawn, thank you very much for watching, and watch this video here. and support the channel.